The other day, I started a video with this screenshot. Now, this is an old post. This happened back in November. So he says, dating a woman that's been single for a while is rough as hell. She's ready to break up with you over anything. And then it says, this is your second time in the refrigerator. You eating all my food. I can't do this anymore. You're disturbing my peace. That got the ladies talking. I asked during the course of that video if they wanted to see a part two because I was just reading these comments and the comments were hilarious. So on my post on TikTok and YouTube, the ladies were speaking and they demanded a 2 through 2000. So here I am giving a part two for now. Now let's start off with some of the comments from my YouTube page. So these ladies are talking about the reasons why they broke it off. Ribby says, I think the fastest I've cut someone off was when I told a guy I was planning on playing Final Fantasy 14 before work, so I wouldn't be looking at my phone. What does he do? He calls me and asks me to pause my game to talk. MFer, you can't pause online games. We're done. This part is what got me. I am fighting a digital dragon with my friends. Go away. She is... She's slaying a dragon in a game. How dare you? You have to go. That got me. Almighty Beanchild says, the minute he asks if I can cook is the minute I ghost him. Modusa the Goddess says, I always ask, can you build a house? Shuts them the F up every time before I ghost them. Trey says, I ask, can you back? Then I tell them I don't cook for men, which solidifies the fact we won't see each other again. Edit. I'm actually a really good cook / baker and will make some really nice dinners for friends just because, but he don't need to ask if I can cook, especially if he ever complains about taking women out to actual dinners or dates, or the cost of said dinners / dates. Groceries cost just as much, if not more, than the dates. And that is where we are right now. Groceries are so expensive. No, these people cannot be coming in willy-nilly, opening up refrigerators, opening up pantries. That is a no where we stand right now. Inflation is just too damn high. That's not what we're gonna be doing. This is Modusa with her own comment says, I was texting a guy for 2 days when he asked me, did I eat dinner before I went to work that night since I worked overnight? I told him I ate and he said, must be nice. I stopped responding. Anytime a guy says that, they're about to tell you how they haven't eaten all day, wish they had a home-cooked meal, blah, blah, blah. Go ask your mammy or one of the other women you're entertaining. Once they must be nice, there is a sob story coming. Don't fall for that. I'm glad that she blocked, but we need to hear that so that you know how the game is played. Lokian says, I'm Gen X and men my age and younger should not be on that BS at all. One of the things I taught my son is that if he ever has a partner, she won't be waiting on him and it won't be her job to do so. Bam. Please, let's teach our sons how to be actual adults that can go out into the world and cook and clean and do these types of things on their own. Bridget says, I ended a 19-year marriage because I was laid up from major surgery and he took 4 days off to care for me. Second day, he comes in whining about something from his work and I said, I don't care. He got all hurt feelings because I don't care about what he's going through. Man, baby, leave me the F alone. I'm recovering from major surgery. I made him go back to work earlier than he planned. I don't need his help. Happily divorced. Menagerie K says, the beginning of the end of my 90-day relationship was when he ate too much. Yes, I cooked a lot of food, but I was expecting leftovers. Now I have to grocery shop all over again because you ate everything. His solution, set aside your lunch for tomorrow after you cook. No, because this is a week's worth of food. You need to eat less. Therefore, I got rid of him. The thing is, how did he even get to this point? How do we get to this point where you could just eat all of this food? Is it like they're going to be hungry once they go home? How do you get to this point where you are so entitled to somebody else's food? Groceries cost money. You have to go to work to get groceries. How are you eating so much food at someone else's house? I'm glad that this was the beginning of the end. This one made me laugh. M. Johnson says, my sister dumped a guy because he ate her Vienna sausages. So much of this sounds like food related things, but it's still just the entitlement because food represents money because food costs money, but food also represents grocery shopping and grocery shopping takes energy. They feel entitled to your time, energy, and resources. And this is one of the things that we talk about. This is funny as you read it, but that's what it boils down to. TLC Chef says the first time I went to his apartment, as soon as he opened the door, I got one whiff of the stench, turned around and walked 30 minutes to get home. If somebody, oh, when you're having company, you're not cleaning up. I do believe, though, that this is one of those stupid tests that they do. They have a dirty home, and then they think that when you invite a female human over, that the female human is just going to, it's just going to click that she's supposed to cook and clean, because they really believe that being a female human, you just have this innate ability or care to clean up somebody else's house. We have M. Johnson again saying, my sister was thinking of restarting a relationship with her ex. She went to his pizza. He was going to order a pizza. She started looking around and was like, oh, hell nah. At least I know my place is clean. As she drove off, he came out and through her rearview mirror, she saw him with a what the hell look on his face. She kept going. Mad About Brow says, an acquaintance said, not all men to me. And so I said, you got to go, and pushed him out of my camping chair. She said, we are not going to be doing this today. That whole not all men and then having to say, yes, you're right, not all. The fact that you even have to say this does get tiresome, and she was unwilling to do that. Let's look at some of the TikTok comments now. Imani says, I stopped talking to a dude because he looked at my trash, seen it was full, added something to the full trash can, and didn't offer to take it out. Catherine says, I kicked my ex-boyfriend out because he kept leaving dirty dishes/glasses all over my house, even after I told him I hate that. I was physically uncomfortable in my own home, and I will not be living like that, so he was gone. And it goes back to the entitlement situation. Anna Banana says, someone I was seeing told me he was the boss around here while he was at my house. He was living with his brother and sister-in-law. He's 40. I stopped talking to him soon after. He would always make backhanded comments which were getting on my nerves. Okay, this one's funny. Susie B says, I stopped talking to a guy because I found out he doesn't like soup. She's like, oh, we cannot be friends. This is not where I see my future. This person below me says logical because who doesn't like soup? And Susie B says, pretty sure is a potential sign of a serial killer. These are the signs that we're looking out for. But we don't want them to like too much soup because then they might come over and try to eat up all your soup. This is a fine line you have to walk. So I have a person here named Chips and Salsa. Chips and Salsa says, I broke up with a guy because he scooped huge amounts of dip and wouldn't truly share it. As a dip lover, that truly was a deal breaker for me. And that makes sense because this person's name is Chips and Salsa. You have got to read the room. If you're going to pull out huge amounts of dip, you better share that. Dab at the bottom says, I'm Haitian. I ended a relationship with a guy who wanted me to make him turkey griot. I don't associate turkey with griot. I made stewed turkey, and he had the nerve to say this is not what he wanted. Out now. Now, I do not know what griot is, and I don't understand, but if she says that she's going to serve stewed turkey, that is what you better eat because that is what she put the energy into. She was not playing about that stewed turkey. All right, so that is the TikTok ladies. We did the YouTube ladies. We're going to continue this because it seems like the ladies they're serious about keeping their peace. Talking about deal breakers and then just breaking things off quickly based on something. I open up my Threads app and I see this post. Joey asked the question, is it a deal breaker for your boyfriend or girlfriend to tell you that when y'all move in together, that your dog has to be an outside dog when said dog has been an inside dog its whole life? This has 2,000 comments. I already know that pet parents are serious about their pets. So I already understood what the comments were going to look like, but still, let's go ahead and look at some of these answers. Zen Bab says he can be an outside boyfriend. Positively Michigan says this is the only answer, and the fact that this person's name is Positively Michigan makes sense, and it has. Okay, we got a dog. We have 2 dogs for a profile picture. We have a kitten for a profile picture. That makes sense. Now, Chai says, when you reach my age, a deal breaker can be breathing wrong when eating cereal. My dogs live inside. That is what I am gathering. Women are unwilling to let their peace be disturbed. She's like, my dogs live inside. You breathe wrong and you're outside. Vixen is responding to Shy saying, reading your comment with 2 broken ribs was definitely worth the pain. That is hysterical and definitely doggo inside. The liberal roughneck says, this is the way. Kitty says, it's blinking for me, so you better not be blinking wrong. Tattoo Mama says, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thinks this way. Sometimes just his breathing will irritate me and he has to go. My dog can snore as loud as he wants inside, and I'll never get tired of him. Vanny, another person with the dog for a profile picture, says, we won't be moving in together then. I'll live with my dog. Boyfriend can visit occasionally. Problem solved. Tammy Crazy Craft Lady says, why stay with such a person? And then Gina, who shows a picture of the dog, and the dog is looking confused, saying, outside of what? The kitchen? This dog is definitely confused. Christy says, I left an engagement when I came home and found he had chained my dog up outside while I was at work. It was sleeting outside. I left that day and wrote a note and left the ring so there wouldn't be any confusion. Doug says, I do the same. And then Christy responds with, he told me he was going to have dinner with his mom and my dog better not be in his house when he got home. I smiled sweetly and told him that won't be a problem. She won't ever be in there again. And she and I left 10 minutes after he did. The dogs are part of people's families. People need to get it together when you start dating someone that has a dog. And this is one of the reasons why I do believe that some men get really, really irritated with women who have pets, because they know that they are not going to be able to take the place of the pet. They know that, and I can see and understand why they would be irritated, because many of these people want to be first. They want to kick out everybody else and be first. It's entitlement, it's jealousy, it's insecurity, it's all of that. Anyways, these were a few of them that made me chuckle. And like I said, this one had over 2,000 comments. So you know that people are serious about their pets. Join the conversation. Let me know, what are some of your deal breakers? What are some of the reasons why they had to go? Chime in. I'm going to be taking your comments to make the rest of the parts 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up to 2,000, because that's what y'all said you wanted. So chime in.